Vamphyri, Book 2 in the Necroscope. I'll flash a picture up over here because I did listen to this on audio, as you know from if you watch the first review of Necroscope Book 1, Necroscope, um, that I finished both these books last weekend at my kid's baseball tournament. And I just needed to unpack this one, and then life got busy and shit happened, and you don't need all of that. All right. But here is the review for book number 2 in the Necroscope series. I'm just going to read the blurb because it gives you a little bit of information, a good amount of information, actually. Um, Not the end of life, Harry Keogh discovered, and not the end of his battle against terrible evil of vampires. In a secluded English village, Julian Bodescu plots his takeover of the world. Imbued with a vampire's powers before his birth, Bodescu rules men's minds and bodies with supernatural ease. He is secretly creating an army of vampiric monsters, things that once were men, but were now walking masses of destructive hunger. Harry Keogh, Necroscope, thought that the war with the vampires had ended with the destruction of Boris Dragozani and of Harry's body. But the man who talks to the dead lives on, more powerful than ever, able to transport himself instantly to any spot on the globe and speak mind to mind with both living and the dead. Are Harry's new powers enough to defeat Julian Bodescu and his legion of monsters, or will the vampire army overrun the living earth? So yeah, this one was published in 1989. Book 2, this one takes a much different tack, because as you heard from the brief blurb, something has happened to Harry, and he's not in physical form. He's kind of stuck in the Mobius continuum, and which makes the book interesting because we follow a couple of other characters, basically two of the people that Harry used to work with, which is Quinn and Kyle, and these are basically like his two underlings in the special service branch that he's in that, hunts vampires and shit, and has like, the ESP telepathic abilities department, basically. But so we follow ma mainly them working with a couple of Russians, um, where their main goal, basically, which we find out very early on, is that they find out about Yulian, but they also find out that Tibor, the vampire who was Boris Dragozani's kind of mentor throughout the first book, um, even though he's dead, his resting place still holds a lot of power. So basically, Quinn and Kyle and the Russians that they team up with from their special branch, E branch, um, are going to try and destroy the remains of Tibor's kind of lair, and then also Firenze, his castle as well, because there's lingering vampiric elements there as well. Um, all in all, this was a fantastic book. The amount of thematic layering in specifically book 2, it deals with a lot of like um, complicated subjects as far as like consciousness and just like basically what it means to be like a disembodied soul, because that's where we follow Harry throughout most of this book. And it deals with some really deep things that you wouldn't expect from a regular run-of-the-mill vampire novel. Granted, like these ones aren't fucking sparkly vampires, so it's already better. I equate this series to something akin to like the movies Underworld. Um, because that series of movies was like pretty much the only other vampires I'd fuck with. Um, just because, they were fantastic movies. They had a metal soundtrack. Like, there was so many good things about those movies. Um, but like I said in the first review, I'm not a vampire person. Most of the vampire stuff that's coming out nowadays is horrible. romanticized vampires. Um, I do enjoy Anne Rice, and I do enjoy, Dracula, like the OG vampires. Um, and I would put Brian Lumley right up there with him. He can write the hell out of some vampires, and I am so excited to continue on with book three, The Source, which I'll put up down here under this one. And yeah, just a fantastic novel. I highly suggest going into this series because, like, even though the explanation ran long at the end of book one, I think it did really set up a lot of Julian's backstory and kind of what's going to happen in this next book. And so, like, now having read both of these books back to back, basically, my criticism of book one, where it took a little bit to resolve book one, I think that, I mean, they still could have probably done it as like a prologue to this book, um, or something like that. But I mean, it doesn't hold up as well as what I thought when I did that first review, when I was still trying to unpack what this one was trying to get at. Um, but I mean, it's definitely a hell of a ride. Um, spanning the continent of Europe, from England to Russia um, to Romania to basically like all over, just all over Europe. So, I mean, this is one of those kind of paranormal horror thriller. Um, it's epic scale horror thriller kind of stuff here, and it's even delving a little bit into sci-fi. I mean, this thing's such a mashup that I was like, as a as like an editor, if I got a book like this, I would be like, I don't even know what to classify this as because it has horror elements, it has fantasy elements, it has science fiction elements, it has thriller elements. Like, it's just all over the place, but it takes like such a masterful writer to do a mashup like this and have it actually work. Um, that is just incredible that Brian Lumley can pull this off so well. Because those mashup novels are hard because you're getting pulled in so many different directions with like reader taste and their kind of their expectations going into it have to be met for most of these genres. And I feel like in 470 pages of the mass market paperback of this book, like, Brian Lumley does all of that in, just under 500 pages. And it's just nuts that he can satisfy all those different genres in the same breath. Like, so yeah, Brian Lumley, he's definitely one of those ones that I'm gonna have to find more that he writes because I am really enjoying everything I've read from him. Titus Crow was awesome, or is awesome. I still have like one book left in that series, but like Necroscope is friggin' awesome. I'm excited to continue on with this. I know he has a whole bunch of like short story collections that have to do with like cosmic horror and like mythos related stuff. So I'm interested to get into all of that. But yeah, he's just one of those standout authors that, like, I have to do a deeper dive into this guy's work to see, if there are any duds. Like, because I haven't found one yet, and I've read, what is it, like six books by him now? Because it was the collection of Titus Crow, the first seven. Because I read the collection of Titus Crow, or the complete Crow, and then I read four of the Titus Crow books out of five. And then I read the first two of the Necroscope books. So yeah, it's seven altogether. So like at seven books, I haven't found a dud in them, which is crazy. Um, because I mean, usually you find at least one where you're like, it was okay. Nope, all of them have been bangers. So yeah, Brian Lumley, he's the shit. Read his books because he made vampires interesting again. Um, in other news. I finished The Ferryman, which that review will be coming, and I started Paul Lumley's horror movie. So we're moving right along on the TBR for May. And yeah, it's despite all the slowing down of actual physical reading, I still feel like I can do and get through the 5 books that I semi-promised I would in my TBR video. So I am going to race through this one because this one's like 300, maybe not even 300 pages. I think it was like 255 pages, so I should breeze through that in like a day. Um, but then on to some Don DeLillo after that with End Zone. Um, and then, yeah, just keep an eye out for the Ferryman review. That should be out. Today's Friday. This video will come out on Friday. The Ferryman review will definitely be coming out on Saturday, I think. We'll see. Um, but yeah, so stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk about these books. And until next time, read, because reading is fundamental.